the Glock 45 MOS 3. Let's check it out. Glock puts out a lot of models, and there's a lot of generations. When it comes to the MOS, it's one of my favorites because I can shoot it without an RMR or a red dot sight, or I can put the plate on it and I can shoot it with. One thing that's a weak point with the MOS system is its plates. The plates are MEM parts, they're cast, they're not that good. Sometimes they'll bend, they'll crack, and it's just one of those things. There's a huge aftermarket support for those plates that are much better. Steel plates, polymer plates, even aluminum plates. And I highly recommend, if you have the standard MOS plates, to replace them. The U.S. military decided they wanted to go with the Glock 45 MOS, but the cuts were already in the slide, so no plate adapters needed. First, they've got the MOS 3, which has the Leupold Delta Point Pro, which is being used with the M17. And they also have the MOS 4, which is cut for the Trigicon RMR. And then they have an MOS 5, and we don't know what that is. And these are not being offered to the civilian market. They could be coming up. I just happened to get my hands on one from one of my Patreon members, and I wanted just to show you guys something that was out there. But also, we're going to look at the Glock Model 47, which is pretty unique. But it's a contract through the U.S. Border Patrol and the DHS. But that's something that we can't get as well, at least at this time. And I really appreciate BonnieBlue for giving me this opportunity to be able to show you guys something a little different in the Glock world. Now let me go ahead and make sure that the gun is unloaded. We're going to drop our magazine, check the chamber, and it's empty. Now we're going to be showing some other firearms, and they're already safety checked. The Glock Model 45 MOS 3. This also comes in a Glock 17 model as well. And guys, just to be honest, this just fits directly to the slide without any kind of spacer. And that is the big deal. The Army wanted to have something that would attach directly. It just took away one of the weak links. Really, those MOS plates for Glock are the weak link. And while I've shot them quite a bit, there are a lot of reports where they fail for different reasons. And they're MEM parts, they're cast, and they're just not that sturdy. One thing about it is, you can go directly to the sight, and it gives it a really secure fit. Now, the MOS 3 is for the Leupold Delta Point Pro. It's the same sight that the U.S. Army went for their SIG modular pistol system, and it goes on their P320 or M17. Now, one of the things about this is that it completely takes away your rear sight. There is a cover plate, which wasn't included when this friend of mine let me borrow this, but the plate's missing. But as you can see, there's no rear sight. But on the Leupold, there's actually sights that will fit right here into this panel. And they're typically more suppressor height, they're higher sights, and so you'd really need a higher sight on the front to match up with it. But according to this one, it's set up just for the red dot. Personally, I do like those higher sights. But one of the things about this is when you have those higher sights, they can get snagged on things. But obviously, if you're going to put a sight on the back, it'd be great to have any kind of sight on the front. Being a loner, I'm not going to take this sight off. But here's a photo of what it looks like. The sight just works right down into the slide. It's just like having slide cuts into your standard slide to be able to get it as low as possible. And that's one of the big things about it. The Leupold sight is a little bit large, and it's not quite as small as the RMR, but the MOS 4 is going to feature RMR cuts. Then the MOS5, they haven't disclosed what that carries, or at least at the time when I was looking at this. That may be revealed. Now, these are not available to the civilian market at this point. They are offered to some law enforcement agencies. In fact, that's where this one came out of. And guys, honestly, putting a spacer here and attaching your sight, I mean, you're going to be good to go. But if you're counting on something as a duty weapon, or especially in the military, you just want something that's bomb-proof. And to me, this would be more bomb-proof. One of the downsides of having your optic directly mounted to your slide is that you can't change it. I mean, if you come up with something that you really like, something new, you're pretty much stuck with the sight that you have on here unless it's compatible with the red dot that you're using. And so one of the things about an adaptable plate is that if I want to change this RMR out to the Delta Pro, I have a plate for it, or, one of the other type sights, a different type footprint. So that is one disadvantage of having your sight mounted directly to your slide. Now I have a Glock 19 MOS version. You can see this spacer plate right there, and then no plate on the other one. It's just, again, going to allow it to sit a little bit lower. The one thing I like about this kind of setup is I do retain my rear sight. But now you can't see it, over the red dot. But if you needed to, you could at least line it up a little bit better. You can see that front sight and bring it down. But, suppressor height sights or a little bit taller sights would co-witness, with your red dot sight. But again, guys, I highly recommend switching out that plate. This one I've been using for a long time, but, anytime you change out your battery, you're going to have to take your sight off. And so that's one of the biggest issues, and you're taking it on and off. Sometimes you can strip your screws, and so it's really nice to have a good solid mounting system and not something that could possibly have some issues. But here I have just a standard model 45. Of course, these are in 9mm, and they shoot the same. I mean, if you put an MOS on here, you're pretty much going to get the same performance out of either one because everything interchanges. And again, guys, just taking it out and shooting it, it's the exact same thing. Now, typically I show loading and just thank Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo. I just missed that, so I just want to take a moment. We really appreciate Fiocchi. This stuff is great. It functions very well. It's great shooting stuff. And yes, I did use my Lula loader. Now, we took it down to the range mainly just to make it more interesting. It's a Glock 45. It shoots like a 45. And unless you're really shooting quite a bit of rounds and you're testing this mount, it doesn't really require a lot. Of course, obviously, this is a loaner, so I'm not going to abuse this gun. But I just wanted to kind of demonstrate just shooting it. But it's a Glock 45. And to be honest with you, Glock 45 or the G19X is the best shooting Glock in the 9mm lineup. There's something about that longer grip, less slide mass coming off the top. It just really makes this a smoother shooting Glock. Now, the screws actually attach directly to the slide. Some sights you can actually attach them from underneath, but this is the exact same way that you're going to put this on your adapter plates on your Glock. And those are the factory adapter plates. So with this, it just goes straight in. You take your screws and fit it in. One of the things I really like, though, about this system is that you're getting a better fit to the slide. And so it's not just 2 or 3 little threads that are in there from your screw. It's a little bit of a deeper fit. Now, the cuts are actually put more toward the back of the slide, and it's going to miss your extractor. Some of them actually will come up a little bit, but if those screws are too long, they can interfere with the extractor. So I just have a feeling that's why they put this back a little bit. And guys, if you want to know more about adapter plates, check out Sage Dynamics. Aaron Cohen does a fantastic job talking about all the adapter plates that he has seen that have broken. He does a lot of classes. The guy is top notch. He's law enforcement, and he is just a really super smart guy. I know Aaron, and he's just a great guy in the first place, but he really gets into some of the base plates that you can use instead of your Glock factory adapter plates. So guys, pretty much the only difference is this slide is cut by the factory to be able to fit an RMR or your Leupold Delta Pro right onto your slide. And again, that was a contract that was done by the U.S. military. I believe Delta Force uses those and some other special agencies. This is not replacing the SIG M17 or the P320. It's just an addition to, and so this is what they're going with. Now the Glock 47, that's something I had not heard about. It was under contract by the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. They adopted actually 3 guns. It was the Glock 26, the Glock 19, and the Glock 47. And the big difference is it fits on the G45 frame. And so the G45 frame is almost like the G17 frame, except it doesn't come out as long on the front. And so it's almost like the front is a Glock 19 and then the back is like a Model 17. With the Model 47, the slide extends past, very similar to your Glock 34. It even has the hole underneath the slide to be able to change out your front sight. Now, one of the things about that is that you can take off that slide and you can replace it with a Glock 19 size slide. And then you have the same thing as the G45. And then if you want to go back, you can add the Model 47 slide, and then it will fit again on the 19 size frame. Now your standard Glock 17 slide will not fit, just like it won't fit on the Glock 45. It's just going to have some space underneath. In fact, it's marked on the slide DHS CBP, and that means that it is a Border Patrol DHS firearm. I believe the Secret Service has also gone with the Model 47. They all have the flared mag well. They all have the Glock Marksman barrel. Model 47 also has the Ameriglow bold sights. And to be honest with you, the slide really is just a short Model 34 slide. It's almost like the Legos in the pistol world. Now, the Model 47 at this time is not available to the civilian market. It's only to federal law enforcement. In fact, again, it was an $85 million contract, and it was done back in 2019. So, and that was for all 3 of their pistols, including the Model 26 and 19. But that doesn't mean that if they get enough call for it, Glock could come out and produce it for the civilian market. So guys, pretty much, I just had an opportunity to bring out the Glock Model 45 MOS 3. And just thought it was a little bit unusual, which makes it kind of nice just to know what's going on out there in the Glock world and what's possible coming to the civilian market. Whether it's the MOS 3, the MOS 4 or 5, and then the Model 47. And guys, all these little changes add up to a lot. And I'll tell you again, this grip with this slide, it makes it one of the best shooting Glocks out there. No, it's going to be difficult to conceal carry. And so that just, kind of brings this into a service pistol, but yet it mitigates the recoil, honestly, I think because of the leverage of the grip and the less mass on the slide. I'm just a big fan of the Model 45 or the Model G19X. Now, guys, while there's just some small changes, it can make a big difference, and it's really nice to see the U.S. military adopting the Glock in certain areas, just like the U.S. Marine Corps. The Glock's such a solid pistol, but yet the weak link again are those mounting plates. And with this new contract, it kind of does away with that. And hopefully we'll be seeing some models coming out available to the civilian market. But also the Model 47, that's a very modular system, makes it even more modular. I'd love to see Glock offer that as well. And again, I appreciate BonnieBlue for allowing me to have this opportunity to check out the Glock Model 45 MOS 3. Well, that's a long name. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And I just wanted to do something and the Glock is this is a dedicated U.S. military. Be strong, be of good courage. This dog, he just likes to bark as soon as I start pulling the trigger. I'm beginning to think he just wants to come shoot.